In the fast-moving world of news, it's easy to miss the meaning between the lines. That's where we come in. Each episode, we take real headlines from Newsline Philippines and let AI break them down. Not just the what, but the why it matters.
Welcome to The Deep Dive, where we take listener curiosity, mix in some interesting sources, and really try to extract what you need to know.
Yeah, today we're jumping into the pretty intricate world of international justice.
That's right, all thanks to a Newsline Philippines article a listener sent in. It's from May 18th, 2025, titled, "Two Nations, One Court. Duterte's supporters demand his release. Ugandans call for justice at the ICC."
Yeah, that title really captures it. The article throws us straight into this stark contrast. Two groups, totally different origins, meeting at the International Criminal Court in The Hague.
But with completely opposite goals, right?
Exactly. One group is there for former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte, wanting him released. The other group is seeking action against Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni and his son. Very different demands.
Okay, so let's start with the Duterte side of things. The article says he's currently held at Scheveningen prison under ICC custody.
Correct. That in itself is obviously huge news. But what's maybe even more striking is what happened just before this article came out.
The election.
May 12th, 2025. While in ICC custody, Duterte runs for mayor of Davao City and wins. And not just wins.
It was a landslide, wasn't it? The numbers are staggering. 662,630 votes for him versus about 80,000 for his opponent.
Over 580,000 vote difference. It's massive. Winning like that from an ICC detention cell, well, it says a lot.
It certainly shows his dominance in Davao City hasn't faded. That's always been his base.
Absolutely. And the article hints this isn't just a local thing either. A win like that could definitely cause ripples nationally, especially with the bigger 2025 elections in the Philippines looming.
You have to wonder how his supporters are framing the ICC's involvement then.
It does suggest they might see it as external interference, doesn't it? And that support isn't just abstract, like in the votes.
No, the article describes these daily gatherings outside the prison in The Hague. Overseas Filipinos showing up consistently.
And there's that specific detail, the woman from the Netherlands.
Right. Bringing snacks and coffee every day. Calls it a personal mission of solidarity. It really paints a picture of, well, deep loyalty.
It's quite something. And then there's the legal angle, which is interesting.
You mean the Philippines withdrawing from the Rome Statute?
Exactly. They withdrew back in 2019. But the ICC still claims jurisdiction.
Because the alleged crimes, the ones they're investigating, happened before the withdrawal, when the Philippines was still a member.
Precisely.
Yeah.
That principle of continued jurisdiction, even post-withdrawal, is pretty crucial for how the ICC functions. It's a key point the article highlights.
Okay, so that's the Duterte side. Now let's shift gears to the other group mentioned, protesting nearby, the Ugandan refugees.
Yeah, and their presence creates such a stark visual and political contrast.
Their demands are the polar opposite, aren't they? They want the ICC to issue an arrest warrant.
For President Museveni of Uganda and also his son, they're not asking for release, they're demanding accountability.
And the accusations are extremely serious. Gross human rights violations, extrajudicial killings.
And the article mentions cross-border military aggression too, specifically pointing to actions in Congo and Somalia. So it's not just internal issues they're raising.
It suggests a pretty broad scope of alleged wrongdoing.
Yes, and Museveni has been in power for a very long time. Initially, he was seen by some as bringing stability, but over the decades, there's been growing criticism about democratic space and human rights. These accusations fit into that longer narrative.
The article includes some really harrowing quotes from them. There's a youth leader, Stewart.
Yes, he talks about mass torture, abductions, and intimidation of opposition leaders.
And specifically mentions threats from the president's son, who's apparently second in command of the army.
That's what the quote says. It's a chilling detail, putting a very personal face on these claims of state intimidation.
And there was another quote from a journalist.
Right. A Ugandan journalist who says they were beaten and talks about a wider pattern of silencing reporters who publish things the government finds uncomfortable.
So it paints a picture of potential repression, limiting free speech, alongside the other allegations.
And all under Museveni's rule, which the article notes has now lasted over 4 decades with his national resistance movement.
So you have these two scenes playing out. Same location, the ICC, but totally opposing demands rooted in vastly different national contexts.
It really underscores the article's description of the ICC's role as complex and controversial. You can see it right there in those protests.
For the Duterte supporters, the ICC looks like, well, overreach. Persecution of a leader they see as strong and popular.
Probably something like that, yeah. Especially given that election win, it looks like external meddling.
But for the Ugandan refugees?
For them, the ICC is maybe the opposite. It's seen as the last hope, perhaps the only hope, for justice and accountability for what they describe as terrible abuses.
A place to turn when they feel they have nowhere else to go.
Exactly, a forum for international accountability.
The article also mentions a small detail. The Philippine flag isn't flying among the member nations' flags inside the ICC building.
Yeah, it's a subtle but potent visual symbol of their withdrawal and maybe their stance towards the court's authority now.
So it all kind of boils down to this big question the article raises, doesn't it? What is the ICC?
Is it going to be this effective tool for political reckoning on a global scale, holding powerful people accountable?
Or will it be seen, at least by some, as selective? Picking and choosing cases, maybe focusing more on certain regions or leaders.
And the article rightly concludes that, well, only time and the evidence will tell. Cases like these are really the testing ground.
So, wrapping up this deep dive then, we've really looked at two incredibly distinct situations converging on the ICC.
Yeah, you've got Duterte's supporters demanding freedom for a leader just re-elected from detention.
And right nearby, Ugandan refugees pleading for the arrest of their own president for alleged atrocities.
It throws the challenges facing the ICC into really sharp focus. Its role, its perception, its limitations, it's all there.
And it leaves us, and you listening, with something to think about. When you consider these two cases side by side, what does it tell you about the inherent difficulties of achieving international justice?
And maybe even more fundamentally, what does it mean when different groups with such profoundly opposing views and experiences of what justice looks like are looking to the exact same international body for answers? It's a tough question.